Hi, I'm Sarah. I'm here in the Berry Room at the Knollween Library, and this week in my Parents Into a Story Time, I read this book. It's called Mice, and it's by Rose Fileman, and Lois Ehlert did the pictures. It was published by Simon & Schuster Books, and one of the things I really loved about this book was the illustrations. And when I looked at them, I thought, hey, we could do something like that. So that's what this craft activity is all about. One of the things I liked about the pictures in the book was the way all the shapes had sort of fuzzy edges because they were torn and not cut with scissors. But it was hard for me to tear in a straight line. Then I figured out that if I took my piece of paper and I folded it and I kind of creased it, then I could tear the paper on the crease and it would be a torn line and not a perfect line, but I could do it kind of straight. So I ended up making my shapes like that, but I'll show you later. It doesn't really matter if you decide to cut it because you can still make a really cute mouse with just cut with scissors shapes too. So that's a pretty good shape right there. This just had a pretty good edge from where I tore it in the first place, so I could use that shape. Once I've made my triangles, the other shape that's in the books a lot is circles, and those I just cut out of paper. I need circles for ears and circles for eyes, and they're really about the same size. But what I really wanted was my two eyes to be the same size as each other, because usually animals have two eyes that are about the same size. So I just folded my paper, and then I cut out my eyes. These are going to be my eyeballs, and the eyeballs in the book have a black spot in the middle. So I just took a marker and colored a black spot in the middle. And then I cut out some other circles to be ears. So you can see I actually made a whole bunch of triangles because I wanted to be able to play around with them. You can see I made some out of newspaper too because I thought maybe I wouldn't have construction paper at home. And you might not have construction paper at home. And then I can just play around with my shapes and make my mice different ways. And I can put some eyeballs on them. Like this mouse is kind of looking toward me. And it's got some little pink ears here. And maybe this mouse is looking to the side. So it's only going to have one eye and one ear up here. I could think about putting another ear here. I kind of like that. Now you can already kind of see they look like mice, but they don't have tails. So for tails, I cut just some strips of paper, and then to make them more tail-like, I'm going to fold them like this. I'm just going to kind of pleat them. This is called an accordion pleat because it kind of makes kind of a stretchy pleat, a stretchy thing, and then I can stick that there. Now that mouse has a tail. Now they're just missing hands and feet, or really mice have two sets of feet. And in the book, the hands and feet are really just strings, and the string I had was blue. So I could stick some blue string there for the two little feet, and you can see it's really just a piece of string with a knot. And I just make a very simple knot. I make a circle, and I tuck it through, and I pull it, and it doesn't matter if it's not quite where I want it, because I can just cut off the extra. And then this part I kind of mess up a little bit to make it a little bit frayed looking. Once I decide I kind of like the way it looks, all I've got to do is glue the parts down. I'm going to start by gluing down my big shapes, and I'm going to kind of stick them right on top of my strings so that my strings are glued down too. So there, I've got my picture. I'm pretty happy with it. I think it's pretty cute. But you know what? There's a simpler way to do it. I might not want to take the time to tear, or I might especially not want to mess with all those fiddly strings. So I'm going to show you the other version that I did without doing all that. Here's the other picture I made. And you can see, for this one, I used my scissors to cut out the shapes, and I didn't use string. I just drew my arms and legs on, and I like this picture just as much. I hope you have fun playing around with shapes, with your circles and your triangles, and then your tail pieces. And the other piece that's on this one, I just put some little squares for teeth. So that's something else you can add too. I hope you have fun. If you need some inspiration, remember that book, Mice, and it's by Rose Feilman. It's got lots of cool pictures that you could look at to get some ideas.